The official open beta is scheduled to begin in fall of 2027. Guild Wars 3 is on the horizon, and in this video I'm going to break down the IGN interview that Colin Johansson gave, and we're going to discuss all the key points that come from that interview if you haven't already seen it. The game is officially available for wishlisting on Steam and PlayStation 5, and as I've just mentioned before at the start of this video, the open beta is scheduled to begin in fall of 2027, with Colin confirming they plan to enter beta at the end of next year. This marks the first time Guild Wars title is launching natively on a home console, so I don't think it's ever been the case, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, that we've had a Guild Wars game that has come to console. Also, with respect to Steam, unlike Guild Wars 2, which took almost 10 years to reach the platform, Guild Wars 3 will launch on Steam on day one. So some of the gameplay pillars and mechanics that they want to focus on for Guild Wars 3, and this is news to me, I didn't realize this was happening, but this is some interesting stuff here. The first one is the Joy of Movement system, and they're developing it as a core pillar to push movement further than past entries. And how they're doing this is by bringing in traditional action game elements into the MMO space, one of which is the momentum mechanic. What they want to do is they want to use movement physics, which heavily impact and affect momentum transfer between, different things that you're doing. So your momentum transfers continuously between all different character actions. Colin mentioned that this is rare in the MMORPG space, and I agree. I don't think I've really seen much momentum-based movement in MMORPGs. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. They're also doing a hybrid combat design, basically building entirely from the ground up to support both controllers and mouse and keyboard simultaneously. So you won't get any console ports or any PC ports. You're getting both being built from the ground up from the start, which is a great way to do it. And also I think it helps for the longevity of the game as well, because then you don't cause any unintended issues when you're doing those additional ports. The lore, the setting, and the timeline. So the setting of Guild Wars 3 is entirely in the Land of Orr. The visuals showcase the location, its spirits, and the gods that live there. The story takes place 1200 years before the events of the original Guild Wars, not Guild Wars 2. This was a misconception that I had. I thought it was 1200 years prior to Guild Wars 2, but it's actually 1200 years prior to Guild Wars 1. The game's setting begins just before the very first Guild War breaks out, and immediately after one of the gods has been deposed. So it looks like it's the start of the gods being, killed off, which is pretty cool setting if you ask me. For new player accessibility, because there's very little recorded history about this ancient era, existing lore is not going to be able to address it. Basically, we might be able to speculate based off of the lore fanatics out there, but I don't think anyone really knows what's going to be going on in this game, and it should be good for all lore fans as well as completely new players, and we'll all be discovering the timelines mysteries on an equal footing. Basically, he explicitly stated you don't need 20 years of franchise history to understand the plot. Although that's why I'm playing Guild Wars 2. I kind of want to understand the history of this world, or I guess the future of this world, because we're going to be going back into the history of this world when we play Guild Wars 3. So one of the key things he also addresses in this is like the monetization model, or the retention philosophy around the player base. So the key pillar of Guild Wars 3 is going to be the buy-to-play model. It's not going to be pay-to-play. It's not going to be, buy expansions to play. I guess expansions they'll probably sell, because they have been doing that in Guild Wars 2. So Guild Wars 3 will strictly maintain a no subscription fee framework. Players will buy the game once and can play as much or as little of it as they want. So there's no hidden battle passes either. The design explicitly rejects the modern monetization structures, he said. And he confirmed that the game will not feature a paid battle pass fee buried inside it. There's also going to be, respect for your time in the way they design it. The game is going to utilize a system of horizontal progression. So this is implemented so players can freely step away from the game to play other things and return and come back to the game without having their time held quote unquote hostage or feeling like the MMO is a second job. So it's going to be horizontal progression, so you don't need to worry about that. You can play as little or as much of it as you want. ArenaNet also confirmed that they will continue to support, which we already saw in the previous video, and I'll link it up above here, in Guild Wars 1. They'll continue to support Guild Wars 1 and 2 far into the future alongside development of Guild Wars 3. So their design framework is it's a problem-first development. Instead of starting production by carrying over old features, pre-writing stories, or picking a specific technology baseline, they're building games by defining or identifying current player problems and frustrations within the active genre. So Guild Wars 1 was built to solve mandatory subscription fees. Guild Wars 2 was built to solve player versus player conflict in giant open worlds. And Guild Wars 3 is being developed to solve genre stagnation. They're addressing player feedback that the MMORPG space has been playing the exact same underlying games for over a decade. So that's where we're in for. Guild Wars 3 could be the defining MMO of our generation. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too.